In today's video, what percentage of your carbohydrates should be in your pre and post workout meals when you're working on some fat loss?
All by myself.
Hey guys, what's going on? This is Paul Ravella from ProPhysique.com. Hope you guys are having an awesome Thursday. Welcome to the video. In today's topic, we're going to talk about my philosophy on carbohydrate consumption in and around your workouts when the goal is fat loss. Now, the question came from my Instagram direct message, so thank you guys for sending me such great messages. Follow along my Instagram, send me a direct message, I'll screenshot it, save it, and I'll put a video up as soon as I possibly can. I gotta say, you guys, the increase in messages that I've been getting, awesome. So I really appreciate it, guys, and I'm scrolling through them. I'm trying to find the best questions possible to address and discuss. And so let's talk about today's scenario. So for those that are not familiar with my philosophy as a whole, I follow something called flexible dieting. I do not believe in low carbohydrate diets. I do not believe in ketogenic diets. I do not believe in paleo diets. In fact, I don't believe in any diet. I like them all. Anything I just mentioned, from intermittent fasting to keto, I think it's great if it sustains your lifestyle and it helps you towards your goals. Now, my personal approach, working with people that mostly are interested in body recomposition, meaning more muscle, less body fat, whether that's just a lifestyle, they want to look better naked, or whether that means they're going to get on stage, well, I believe in dieting on the most amount of carbohydrates possible. That's not always going to be a lot, depending on the person, depending on the metabolism, but the most carbohydrates possible while getting lean. And here's the reason why. In the gym, for performance, for building muscle, for recovering, carbohydrates are fantastic. Now, if this turns you off, well then turn my video off, because that's where we're gonna go with this. I'm gonna tell you my philosophy on how I use carbohydrates around workouts. Now, I also believe in something called flexible dieting, where I do not believe that there's really these magic foods that you have to eat or should avoid. However, there are definitely certain foods that are going to be better for you. And when it comes to pre and post workout carbohydrate nutrition, I really like carbohydrates that are easy to digest, okay? I wouldn't want to get 40 or 50 grams of carbohydrates from, say, green vegetables an hour before I go train, okay? That's going to be very slow digesting, very tough to digest, and probably not a lot of benefit in the immediate future for me. So what I suggest for my athletes, for my clients, is to take in 25 to 35% of your total daily carbohydrates in your pre and post workout meals. However, this is not a hard and fast rule. We don't have to follow this, and I'll give you some reasons why we might not follow this. Some people like to get up and train at 5 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning, and getting up that early from a sleep and getting in a large meal is oftentimes just not the best approach. And let's talk about why it's not the best approach. Well, there's a few reasons. First of all, sometimes we're just not that hungry that early in the morning, okay? And it doesn't fit our life to wake up an hour before we have to train just to scarf down a meal that we're not going to enjoy because we think we have to get it in. So sometimes I actually allow people to train fasted if I feel it's going to benefit them, which would make their last meal the day before where we'd probably focus on getting their pre-workout carbohydrates from, right? So if this is the scenario, what I like someone to do that trains super early is to get up and train and then immediately have a meal post-workout that's probably gonna have upwards of 35 to 40% of your daily total carbohydrate intake. Now, what else would I say as far as carbohydrate intake? Well, one thing that I really believe in is paying attention to your lifestyle, your body, and what's impacting you in the best way possible. So what I mean by that is pay attention to when you're hungry. If you find you're really, really hungry at night, but you're not that hungry in the morning, maybe don't force yourself to eat so early in the morning. Don't put in a bunch of carbohydrates. Now, as an example, I eat between 200 and 400 grams of carbohydrates a day based on what I'm doing, what I'm training, where my refeed at, where my goals are at, right? Right now, that means that I'm in between that mark, and for breakfast, I don't eat that many carbs. I might get 20 or 30 grams of carbs at breakfast. That's my typical breakfast. So that leaves me a lot of carbohydrates the rest of the day, right? That leaves me 270 grams of carbs on a 300 carb day. So that allows me to really put a lot of focus on my pre-workout carbohydrates. So I might have 60, 70, 80 grams of carbohydrates an hour and a half before I go to the gym. But if I'm gonna do that, like I said, I'm not gonna have green veggies. My current favorites for carbohydrates pre-workout would be something simple like white rice, a white potato, or even something more basic that's higher in sugar like a kid's cereal. I love Honey Nut Cheerios. Sometimes I'll do Fruit Loops. And those foods would typically be thought of as, man, that's not really bodybuilding friendly food. But for me, for myself, I find I digest those very well. I can get into the gym and I can not feel like I'm still processing some food, right? It gets right to my system. So that's the most important thing. We're talking about 30, maybe 25, maybe 35% of your carbohydrates pre and post workout when you're in a fat loss phase. And here's why. Because when we're in a fat loss phase, we're calorie restricted, cardios might be elevated, energy might be lower. The impact that our workout has is going to be felt very much during the fat loss process. We need to keep muscle, right? We need to have energy for these workouts. So I want to make sure that we're getting the most bang for our buck when we're in the gym, okay? Especially for my physique competitors. We cannot let the gym slip, okay? So for that reason, I want to make sure my pre and post workout, and I'll tell you this, I sometimes even bring some candy to the gym on a leg day. That's right, I might have some Sour Patch or something like that during my leg days, because those kind of workouts can really get grueling and long, and I even start to feel hungry during those workouts. And if you feel hungry, you're thinking about eating. If you're thinking about eating, you're not thinking about your next drop set you need to do on leg day. All right, guys? So that's gonna be it. Try implementing this. Now, when we're talking about carbohydrates being this high, well, something's got to give. So I tend to keep fats a little lower, right? And I keep protein pretty high. So for myself right now, my macros are 250 protein, 50 fat, and I'll say 300 carbs on average, right? And I'm a 200-pound male competitive physique athlete. So take that as it may. I've been training for 20-something years. I'm below 6 or 7% body fat right now. You can look at my past videos if you want to see what that kind of looks like on me. But that's where I'm at. That should not be applied to you, okay? However, I still believe firmly in getting 30, 25, 35% of your carbohydrates pre and post workout during a fat loss phase, especially on training days. On days that you don't train, I'd probably just spread them out more evenly or save them for the time of day when you typically know you want to eat a little bit more. For me, that's later in the day, post workout. I know I'm going to eat more of my carbohydrates. Early in the day, I just don't crave them. I don't need them. So I save them for when they're valuable. All right, guys, that's going to be it for me today. I hope you guys had an awesome Thursday, and I will talk to you tomorrow.